There you go.
Thank you.
Oh. Yeah, you know, they're not board members until the. Right. I think, I mean,
I don't know, I've
I
never.
don't know.
Well, so, I mean, are we at 3 out of 4 right now?
So we wouldn't have enough anyway.
Which would be a quorum, or are we at 4 out of 6 and we can't?
3
count
went on,
the-
3 went
Well,
on.
that's true. How do you do that? Right? Well,
Oh, yeah, because you're.
oh, here it comes. All right.
Everybody just always shows, you know?
Right. Well,
I think you're 5.
dude,
All right. We'll call the meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Due to the current federal and state emergency declaration, Minnesota directed its residents to stay at home and guidance about limiting person-to-person contact due to the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. This meeting of the Lisle School Board is being conducted in accordance with Minnesota Statute 13D.01 by telephone or other electronic means. Due to the health pandemic, the school board determined that it is not feasible for the public to attend this meeting at the regular meeting location with the health pandemic. Persons may monitor this meeting from a remote location by Zoom. Information on joining the meeting can be found on the school website. Public comments prior to the meeting can be made by contacting the superintendent or the board chair by email. This meeting is being recorded. Access to the recording will be available on the school district website as soon as possible. Item 3, agenda changes or additions. We are going to remove 5A, as that is the same thing as under item 4B, number 24. So it would just repeat it. It won't need to do that. Other changes or additions? Not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Carl, is there a second? I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Items for action and discussion. A, swearing in with oath of office of new board members, Chad Hurd and Renee Gogolewski. Did I pronounce that right? No. You? Gogolewski. Thank you, sorry about that. So Chad and Renee, if you would stand. Oh,
I can redo it.
Carl, would you please stand? You don't have to do that.
Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna do the option.
Chad, Carl, it is an honor that you were elected to guide the education of our community's children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as a director of our school district with the duties and powers by the Minnesota legislature. This power puts you and the other members of our school board in the position of being both morally and legally responsible for equitable, quality education of every student in the district. Carrying out this responsibility, you will be asked to fulfill the roles of vision, structure, accountability, and advocacy. Providing Vision, the board, with extensive participation of the community envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for Lisle Public Schools.
Huh, I gotta get out of it. It didn't put me in.
To achieve vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designed to ensure all students the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. Because as a board, we must be accountable to the community, we must ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children. As board members, we serve as education's key advocates on behalf of our students and our community to advance the vision of our school. Furthermore, we must strive to work together with the superintendent and staff to lead the district towards fulfilling the vision we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. Renee, raise your hand. And then your right hand. And then if you want to read your bottom portion there.
Having signed the acceptance of office and oath of office, I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office. I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of school board member of Independent School District 497 to the best of my judgment and ability.
Thank you, Renee. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chad, you will raise your right hand.
Having signed the acceptance of office and oath of office, I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office. I swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of the school board member of Independent School District number 497. That's my judgment.
Chad, congratulations.
Having signed the acceptance of office and the oath of office, I hereby publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office. I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and this state, and that I will discharge faithfully the duties of office of school board member of Independent School District 497 to the best of my abilities and judgment.
Thank you again, Carl.
I don't know if I've ever done that in 22 years. Okay.
All right, moving forward. B, consider the discussion, nomination, and approval of the following school board committees.
I make a motion that Carrie Nelson knock these out.
You have, there's like an order, okay. So nominations are in order for the office chair.
I nominate Carrie Nelson.
I second that. Are there any other nominations for the office of chair? I have to ask this 3 times. Are there any other nominations for the office of chair? Any other nominations for the office of chair? If there are no further nominations, nominations for the office of chair are closed. We will take a vote on that. All those in favor of myself saying chair? Aye. Say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? Passes. Vice chair, currently Carl Miller. Nominations are in order for the office of vice chair. I'll make the motion for Carl. I'll give it to Krista. Make the motion for Carl. Are there any other nominations for the office of vice chair? Any other nominations? Other nominations? There's no further nominations. Nominations for the vice chair are closed. All those in favor of Carl remaining vice chair? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Dave. That's Kristen.
Office of the treasurer. Currently Krista is the treasurer. We will open nominations for the office of treasurer.
I make.
Are there any nominations for the office of treasurer? Any other nominations? There's no further nominations. Nominations for treasurer are closed. All those in favor of Krista as treasurer, say aye. Opposed? Oh, what? There's no, because I was thinking of any. Okay, I just actually there's stuff. I don't know. Things are very easy when there's just one nomination. Don't even have to vote technically.
Probably. That secret ballot. I have a story about that.
Okay. Office of clerk, that was Jerry.
I would like to nominate.
Has been nominated for clerk. Are there any other nominations for clerk? Other nominations? Other nominations for clerk? If not, nominations for clerk are closed. All those in favor of Dave as board clerk, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Congratulations, Dave.
Probably will have to sign some stuff.
Lots of stuff.
Yeah. What I asked.
Board salaries. Board salaries are currently, how many million? 1 million. Currently at $830. Discussion on school board salaries.
For the raises.
Okay. Is there a motion to continue $830 for the board salaries? Motion?
Did you have to simply?
Thanks.
There we go.
Oh, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it.
It wasn't Tammy.
Is there a second? Second. 6, admin negotiation committee, currently myself and Carl. Discussion on this.
So we'll have to do. Yeah, don't have to do it this year, right? One, can we do it?
Maybe do what?
One, can-
He's got a multi-year contract, so he's not up.
well, I know, but one, Jamie just. Have that on?
I would be a part of it.
Oh, okay.
So I think we want to look at the next 3
Yes.
and like get Chad and Renee.
Yep.
You know,
So,
maybe somebody goes off and.
Do you want to come off teacher
I would love to.
and then add one of them as a
Yes,
teacher?
I would.
I'll do either, any of them, doesn't matter.
Chad, would you want to do teachers?
Yeah, fine. I don't care.
So is there a motion to have Chad and Krista be on the teacher negotiation committee?
I'll make a motion. Or I can't.
Oh, you can't.
I nominate.
Yeah, you can, you nominate myself. I'll make the nominations for with Krista and Chad, okay.
Is there
Can we do a double?
Oh, did I say teacher? I skipped admin. Sorry.
Well, personally, I think the board chair should be on with Chad.
Exactly. You just do.
Yeah, I
You
think,
guys stay where you're at with that
and then we'll rotate the rest.
and rotate the others.
Okay, I'm sorry. So I skipped here. So
Yes,
let's go back to admin. Is there a
Yeah,
motion to
yes.
keep it the same?
yeah.
Can't vote,
I'll
Carl.
make a motion, to
Dave,
keep it
thanks.
the same.
I'll second it.
Oh, you look, yeah, okay, thank you.
No one's watching.
No.
It's a little lax.
I'm trying to hold myself together. Just holler at me if you see me like doing stuff like that.
Well, I just thought we were
Get
skipping
my
over. I
focus
didn't.
back on track.
Sorry.
Okay, so Carl, you made the motion
No, I
to
did not.
add, no, not,
Oh, we were running a feature now?
yes, you
Yes,
made the
I made-
motion to add Chad
And
and
Krista.
Krista. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, you have to vote on.
How we're running it, I would.
Yes, okay,
You've got some notes there.
I know. Okay, so all those in favor
Okay.
of Dave Frank, Chris Pell being admin negotiations committee? All those in favor, say aye.
No, that was not the motion.
What?
You and Carl are the admin.
So we're doing that.
Teacher.
Teacher.
Oh my
Krista
gosh,
Chat.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're doing teacher.
I read I was reading the motion, 10 seconds. I am all over
We get
today.
$830 a year. It's fine.
All those in favor, it was, okay, all those in favor of myself and Carl
Yes.
being the admin negotiations committee, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. We're gonna do this again for the teacher negotiation committee. All those in favor of Chad and Krista? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Non-certified, currently Dave and Wendy. So. Are you okay with that, Dave? Renee,
Walk
are
this
you?
year, there's nothing to negotiate.
Yeah, that's the one to be on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm in favor.
teachers comes up this year too.
So is there a motion to approve Dave and Renee for non-certified?
I'll make a motion.
Krista, is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Facilities committee, currently Jerry and Dave.
I think Dave should stay on that.
Like that too.
And it,
All volunteer.
okay,
Chad,
I
you
was
would
just
be
gonna say,
great.
is that something up your,
Yeah.
okay, that would be great.
Is there a motion to approve Chad and Dave facilities committee? Is there a motion to approve
Yes.
Chad and Dave? Okay, Carl makes the motion
Yes.
to approve that. Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I should give it to you.
Finance committee. Currently Krista and myself.
So I think it might, it's kind of beneficial. I'm just saying, that we explain a little bit about each of these committees for our new members, so they understand kind of what they're getting into. I mean, we're just kind of flowing through it, because we know,
Yes.
but it might be beneficial so that they know, and then if there's something that they're interested in being on, that they.
Because I assume everybody knows what's in my head.
Yes, because I remember coming on going, oh my gosh, this is just so overwhelming, and I don't know what.
You did a great job.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we're at finance, so that I don't want any part of it, so someone else takes one.
I would be
Finance.
very happy if one of our members would love to deal with finance.
Meet with me and superintendent a couple times over the course of the year. We'll talk about levies, we'll talk about budgets.
And brainstorming ideas,
Krista, do you want to stay on it?
I'm happy to stay on it.
And she does a great job on it, so she would be a
I'm
really good
assuming you wanna
mentor
be on it.
to.
Well,
I
you have a
really
lot on
could
your
take
plate.
something off my plate.
Okay,
Brainstorming ideas on where we can try and be more efficient, or others. But it's not like we're in charge of everything. We have Brent.
If I could interject, as a new board member, it's an excellent committee to be a part of, to learn about how the school financial side of things. So
They learned a lot.
Yeah,
Are you,
if you
is
want-
that something that you're interested in?
I don't know if you realize this, but I'm very informal, so if you want to do it, just say, I want this one.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna say,
Yeah.
would you like to be a part of that?
I would like to.
Okay,
That sounds fantastic.
I nominate Krista and Renee for the finance.
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Community Ed Committee. Krista, would you like to talk about that? Please?
Well, you can talk about that, I'm nominating you. You're an excellent job. You think of stuff up all the
I
time.
mean, are you okay with continue, I mean,
Yeah.
you are, okay. I mean, if you're
I
okay.
mean,
with
I'm
that.
okay with it, but if anybody wants to also participate in that, it's okay. It needs, and we just kind of come up with different community classes, and just done some arts and crafts and stuff, when pre-COVID, trying to bring different classes. Kids or with adults. That, community involvement. I know.
You can finish, but I'm just gonna nominate.
I'll
Yeah.
second.
I nominate
Anybody ever
Krista.
has any good ideas to do something?
I'd like a yoga class, if we can ever do that again.
A yoga class?
Serious.
Are you gonna teach it?
No, you gotta find something to teach. I would do it.
All right, so, Carol, any other motion? Renee seconded that, all right, for Krista is community ed. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? LPAC committee, currently Carl and myself.
I will explain it, but I'd like to also stay on it, but it's our co-op, Lyle Pacelli. We meet with board members from Pacelli. It's a way to connect with them, talk about issues, so it doesn't get a lot of proportion, so. I'd like to stay on it.
Athletic, it's
It's
all
athletic
athletic.
side of it.
Athletic thing, athletic. I enjoy being on that also, but I mean.
Second.
Sorry, did somebody second that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad did.
I'm sorry,
Chad got in there.
I'm sorry.
Chad did.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Lyle Legacy Committee, currently myself, well, so Lyle Legacy was kind of formed from an old booster club, from sports, and the PTA or PTO that was once a part of the school. It was many years ago. We had many of the same people doing things, so we combined into the Lyle Legacy, and we do. Well, we have, yeah, I mean, we haven't met or done anything since COVID, so, but we do fundraisers throughout the year to support things in the athletic programs, but also in the classrooms as well, and for the school.
Walkathon.
So it's yes,
We're gonna walk on.
right. Like we said, this year has been nothing,
We usually
so,
do travel basketball runs through it.
Yeah.
Usually have a big tournament, that's a big fundraiser. With it, 6 great tournament.
we offer classroom reimbursement
It's,
to teaching staff. It's just it's a group that's.
it's kind of a fun, you know,
Basically a
As a
fundraiser,
whole.
to be able to do different activities within the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Legacy's done like matchbox theater and things like that. They
Yeah.
help students to
Yeah.
the
it's kind of
matchbox.
like,
Just different stuff.
we've donated field trips.
It's kind of when any organization in school needs a little help,
You know,
if we're able to help. Yep. Much this year, unfortunately. I mean, I am fine staying on that, but if someone else would like to join as well, or. Okay.
I'll do the carry.
No, second that.
Nobody else right
I know. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Policy committee. Wendy and Krista.
I don't think we ever met.
We didn't.
Dang it, very good.
Should have.
Basically, there are policies that we need to, by state statute, renew or at least review year to year. And then there's always additional. So
We need it.
I don't, it's helpful to have, but I don't, is it essential?
Well, I just, was this year when you started, or is it something?
We started right.
It's 3 years ago, I think we started, but we really never got it off the ground.
I mean,
And-
it's policy read, and then you just kind of set it up to the board. I think it was to be able to have a few members meet and help go through policies, be able to bring it back to the board, say it's been reviewed by board members.
Well, should we do it one more time?
What do you think, Jamie?
Well, if we don't, I would, Corey and I would work through those and communicate with everybody. So it is nice to have extra eyes on it. I don't think we have to meet as often as I think as a bigger district would. It'd be nice to have a group of people just that I could send it to review.
Okay.
So,
It's more of a, not needed to.
The reading homework.
Yeah, as needed, yeah.
Is there anyone that would like to join? Or Krista, are you still okay with that? Yep. I would like to join Krista. I like to nitpick and read. Well, that sounds like it's right up your alley then. Not very often.
You haven't sounded,
It's really not that often.
I don't.
because it's really exciting reading.
But you just kind of look through.
I nominate Renee.
Carl, that hurts that you don't find it entertaining. Come on.
Since
So Carl nominated Krista and Renee. Is there a second to that? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Strategic Plan Committee, currently myself and Krista. That Krista.
Well, it kind of became world first workforce. Right. And so, because we did that, but we previous strategic plan, but we really knew the world first workforce before.
Jamie, what is your plan with the Strategic Planning Committee? I mean, is that,
It never really got off the ground the last year and a half, and I think it's something that we do need to review. So having some board members on to work with me as brainstorm and get that going. With COVID, we haven't really it's been on the back burner, but eventually it needs to be given more attention.
Really never developed. It just never really developed.
No.
Right, what it should be.
right? If you want to keep calling it the.
I would like to come off, I have enough, doesn't listen through.
I think you
Right.
can more.
Well, there's one more that I know I'm gonna end up with, and so therefore, I think that I can come up with this one.
I think the board chair should be on that one.
Well, that would make sense, as you,
I am good with.
Okay.
because you're already
Yep.
Chad,
thoroughly.
that's something I think you'd be great at. So you're gonna be nominated to it,
The strategic plan.
Carrie and Chad.
Got it.
Are you good with that, Chad?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're gonna lead us, you're gonna help plan our future.
Here you go. Good man.
Setting goals, direction.
Yeah. It sounds like you. Well,
How you're gonna achieve those goals, things like that.
I nominate Chad here.
All right, is there a
Second.
second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Library committee was Jerry and Wendy. I am not sure.
That
Jamie, do
committee-
you know how often they met?
Recently.
We met a few months back. It's probably about 2 or 3. Well, I think we're required to meet 4 times per year.
So what they do is, because it's also involved with the city, so it's some city council members, and community determining that this is considered our both public and school library. Once COVID happened, we couldn't allow people in the building, and that became something totally different. So that's kind of on the back burner, but discussing options on how we can call ourselves, whether we are considered a community library versus a public library, different funding and how we pay for like the book exchanges and things like that. It just kind of looking at some logistics.
There's definitely some work to do in what this place might look like.
Correct.
with COVID.
And we should make it some really good things.
And right now you're looking in this space thinking, holy cow, there's a lot. It's because we turned it into a classroom. Yeah, it's a current classroom as well. So that's why.
Multiple classrooms, actually.
Yeah. Not being utilized as a library at this moment. Right.
How many committees is
I don't really
considered like overlay, or start to stress out?
I mean, it depends on what kind of the committee.
Where it gets to be a lot.
Chris has started stressing out at 4, so
Well, I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, and I know I'm gonna get a 5th. But I also know what they're.
Oh, right, I mean, it depends on how often you meet, how, you know.
But it isn't that overwhelming.
I mean, I haven't served on the library committee, but
I did.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean,
I mean, do you,
truly met twice.
okay.
It wasn't that big a deal.
So to help you understand, Renee, like non-certified negotiations is every other year. So when that time comes up, it's pretty intense, but this year it won't be. Other committees, it's depends on what's going on oftentimes.
Intense in terms of the time commitment and coming here and having meetings.
finance will be a couple of meetings, but have homework and you won't be expecting to run the meeting, so
Yeah, it's just simply.
you come and learn every year.
Right.
I mean, I can try to like break
Do you need to? Could we just go to one?
Let's go.
Jamie, is that all right?
Yeah, actually, I didn't even realize Jerry was on the last one. I don't know if he was even invited.
Yeah, there's one. So we don't have one.
We're gonna have one. Is there a motion for?
I'll make one.
Is there a second? I'll second it. All those in favor, say aye. Okay, opposed? Opposed, State High School League Representative, currently Carl.
I'll do it in the room, so it's good whatsoever, except I so.
I think it was on any.
Yeah,
Is there-
great.
Yeah, correct.
And so I might be at the press conference and make it so.
I actually have some work. to do
Yeah.
on this committee this time.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve Carl for the?
I make a motion.
For, Krista, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Official school newspaper. Currently, Otsdale, Carroll, Lyle Waits, Monterey County Independent newspaper. There's, by Carl, is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Official law firm, current, Kennedy and Grayman.
We're okay with that, Jamie?
Let's hope we never have to use them.
Okay. I make a motion.
Carl, make a motion. Is there a second? I'll second it. Krista, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Official communication channels. Them all there, if you want. Yeah. Is there a motion? I think so. They're still used, are all those still utilized, Jamie?
We all get a text now.
Um,
All of it.
yeah,
I make a
You don't
motion.
recognize a couple.
I make a motion.
Carl, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Official depositories as Sterling State Bank.
I make a motion to accept that.
Carl, is there a second?
Let's do.
I'll second it. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? The SMEC representative. Maybe, do you know more detail about what the requirements are of the SMEC?
Yeah.
representative?
so this was formed a couple of years ago when, in the process when they were adding the building. They meet at the minimum 2 times a year to review overall budgets, what the cabinet, which is the superintendents, bring to the board. This, I think, Bradley, you probably would agree that this position is important this year because of some changes that are going on within SMAC. And so I think having someone with some board experience might be beneficial on that for at least this year.
I'll do that one if you do the other one. Our county,
I've been on that. They don't meet and I can't do it in the middle of the day.
well, I can't either. I'll do the snack one.
Somebody
Really?
make a
That's the
motion.
one I thought I was gonna end up being on.
No, I haven't.
I know, you told me that's where you wanted me to go.
Thank you, Carl. Is there a motion to? Carl?
If we can take out it for the next
You
one.
could both get nominated and you could vote.
Is
That-
there
I'm
any-
just throwing that out there, that that's an
Oh,
option.
a secret ballot.
Want it?
No,
Do you want to?
I'll do
Do
it.
you want it together? I mean, is there a,
Well, I don't.
It would just be one,
Yep.
oh, you only get one?
that one you're actually being appointed to a board that.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll.
Right.
It's just fine.
I figured it was gonna end up being me. The last time we talked, we talked
Well,
about.
I've been thinking.
Okay.
Well,
So,
it's either you or me or you, Carrie. Yeah, that's gonna be using our county.
well, thank you, Carl.
So do I get to ride over with you, Jamie? We ride together?
I have never attended one, so I don't
You don't
believe. I'll have to look into that. I don't even know.
have to?
Usually, the only unfortunate thing is oftentimes Dan will schedule them the same night as our board meetings.
Oh.
So, which
I think that's it.
If that's the case, go to that one.
So,
No, seriously,
okay,
because they only are gonna meet twice a year.
yeah, so
So if you miss that, you miss the whole year.
Yeah.
So will they email me or do you tell me, Jamie?
you are notified by Dan or his secretary, but I will also notify you.
Was that right?
Because before that, you and I and probably Bradley will talk about what the ongoing is, what's going to happen.
If you, we'll figure it out. Like MSH itself, we get thrown out, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I don't know if that is in there.
Okay.
Okay, we'll find it.
All right, so Dave made a motion to approve Carl for the next
I'm not
representative.
doing
Is
it
there a
next year.
second? Is there a second?
I'm not doing
That's doing what?
Okay.
this document, I'm not doing, when we redo this, I'm not doing it. I'll do it this year.
I love it.
You're going to love it so much.
It's gonna suck.
No, it might be great.
You'll love it, Carl.
Yeah, I'll-
You'll love it. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our county collaborative representative was carried.
So obviously you have to have some time during the day, if they
So-
ever meet.
When do they meet?
What are they doing?
Yeah, what did they
I'm not
do?
even sure,
Okay.
to be honest.
So the Board County
Chad, I
Collaborative-
nominate Chad. He's just gonna do it.
So what it is it's a group of organizations that are meeting together with common goals. Specific, early childhood is a big part of it. So there's county people, there's school district people, there's city people, there's a bunch of nonprofits that are involved. So all coming together around the same, say common people that they support and sharing ideas and trying to promote positive outcomes.
So
But I
do
mean,
you have,
it is a good group to have a voice in, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
because
absolutely.
like there's some dollars, are there some dollars associated with that or some?
We haven't gotten any, but they have money.
but
If not, if we and other rural school districts aren't represented, all the money is just gonna go to us. I mean, that's,
So, but, so what time of day does it meet?
most of it's gonna go there anyway.
Yeah.
I believe in the past, it's been like 3, 4 o'clock.
Can you do something like that, Chad? Great, great. Good girl.
No, I'm in Austin or where I can get off.
It usually is in Austin.
Whenever I
That's the
want
other
to.
thing.
so.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Although they've been doing everything over,
Zoom.
because I mean, or they're not.
Well, that's even better, you can email.
There you go.
You'll get better email.
They've been voting on things through email.
All right, is there a motion to approve Chad?
I make a motion.
Earl? Is there a second?
Okay.
Second that. That's good. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Set times and dates for regular meetings.
want to keep it?
Third, well, if we do the second, that's the fireman meeting in downtown. Okay, whatever.
The one,
So is this the one where I just say this, Jamie?
yep,
Okay, so I'm wondering if we can make the January meeting, not the third, make it the fourth, because he's obviously out. And my husband is having surgery next week, so I won't be here,
I'm looking for a great week.
unless it's over Zoom.
So if you want to do it,
So January 27th?
Right, so instead of doing it on the
Oh,
20th, just doing it on the 27th for January,
this
and,
month,
yeah, and then the third of all the other months.
we either gotta do it the second or the third month week. Second's probably a little too early, right?
Right now.
No, for you.
Well, I'm booked on the 4th. One of my other districts is the 4th Wednesday, but if you bump up to the second Wednesday, that's pretty tight. Not
just
some
keep it
months,
on.
I'm being able to.
Third Wednesday.
Works, but
This third Wednesday works well for Chad, Renee?
Four o'clock.
I mean, I teach every.
from a time standpoint, if you go any earlier than 6,
I was kidding.
but if you were to, you'd have to schedule the truth and taxation meeting. December, that would have to be 6 or later. I can't think off the top of my head if there's any other things that you have to do after 6, but that's fine.
Well, if she's teaching every Wednesday from 2 to 8.
I would say,
Okay.
I mean, it's. All that's long, but it's.
Well, why we go on Wednesday is athletic events.
Yeah.
So if there's a game on Tuesday. And Monday and Friday, it just, I don't like
Really
messing
hard.
that stuff. But Wednesday, there's nothing really. You will know when the meeting is every Thursday.
I mean,
The 6 o'clock still works as a time?
You can't get here any earlier. For days.
Okay.
I know it'd be nice for other.
So is there a motion to approve January's meeting for 6 o'clock on the 27th? And then following that, every other month on the third Wednesday at 6.
No, every.
Every.
The remaining months.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
no,
like.
I heard it too, and I
wow.
was like,
I wish.
I wasn't expecting that.
Every other,
you
oh,
meant
the
all the
remaining,
other
yeah,
ones.
all the other
The
months,
monthly,
Yeah.
yeah,
yes, is the third
February through
Wednesday.
December.
The third Wednesday.
Unless you want it on Zoom next week.
Does that work?
Carl wants to know if we can go every other month.
I think it's in our bylaws. to do that.
Like 4 hours.
Oh, that'd be even worse. Let's go every month.
Yeah, every month is fine. So is there a motion to approve that?
I make a motion.
Carl, is there a second? A second. All those in favor, say aye. Say aye. Opposed? Consider approving Lyle School District Safe Return to School Plan effective January 18th, 2021.
all righty. So I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen here. Let's make sure it's working here.
And the handout in front of you is what we did. Other ink with it.
All right, can
Yeah.
you see that? Okay. So the leadership team, the teachers, Corey and I met last week and then earlier this week to come up with a plan to return to our students back. If you recall at the beginning of the year, we expressed these 3 terms, consistency, and to be as consistent for parents, for students, for everyone involved, that safety was our priority, and we will do our best to communicate changes as best as we can. And I feel confident we have done a very good job with that. COVID has, really never entered our building, which is, a good sign. We did the survey as promised. It was sent out January 3rd. We had a few days on that. So just want to go over some of the results with that. This one is how has our Lyle's hybrid learning plan from September through November. So the start of the year, how did that fare? And I was very pleased with these results that a good chunk of our parents are fairly pleased with the plan that we had in place. This one is if we were to bring all students back, knowing that we would follow all safety measures, how comfortable would they feel? Again, overwhelmingly, 90 some, close to 80% of the people, were very, stated they were very comfortable with that, or at least somewhat comfortable. Number 4 was if we were to add more children to our school buses. This has always been the key, a big catalyst for us on how we were doing. And so again, a little more hesitancy with this one, but overwhelmingly the parents were pleased with putting students on the bus. And this one was just more of a description of how, if we were to do that, we will have some parents who will be dropping them off, picking them up. So about, granted, there's 122 responses out of ours, but half of them, survey said they would still need transportation on the buses. And would they agree with a decision if we did decide to bring all of our students back? This question was vague. I understand, because it says if we were to return all students, I'm sure several parents or survey members, interpreted that differently, meaning all students, meaning all 300 students, or does that mean just more? But a good chunk of them would still be satisfied with that. So before this here, we wanted to be transparent with everybody and to the parents who are watching, who are going to watch this. Some of the results, I just wanted to give you an update on where we're at as of today. So I know the state wants us to use less of this number, but it is still a guide that we've been using since the beginning of the year. So we are currently at 59.4. At the beginning of the year, the guide, the gauge was at 50. That was the big number. We have surpassed that. We were at least 209 or 206 at some point. We've taken the last week and the last 2 weeks, and kept the students home so that families, if they were to decide to go to see family over the holidays, they at least were going to. They would not be bringing it back in the building. So our Lyle districts is a little bit lower at 46.2, and this is based on just a couple of zip codes. I don't know if this is a true identity of what our district boundaries are sitting at. Currently, we have 8 students who are quarantined. The date they can return it varies. We have 4 positive cases. They are all out of the building, obviously. So, and following their quarantine, and including myself, we have 7 staff quarantined. And unfortunately, I'm the one who's going to be probably the longest ones, but everyone else is going to have the return here sooner than me. So why the change? This has been a push from the governor, from MDE, and the general public to get to the point where we can bring our students back safely. Elementary is kind of the priority that has been set. The way the governor and his executive order was placed, there is a process if we were to bring everyone back. But that notion was mainly put together for the Rochester schools, the Minneapolis schools that have been out distance learning K-12 the entirety of the year so far. Thankfully, we have not. So our process, if we were to return everyone, it is a little simpler than the bigger schools. We are included on that. I just want to make a note of this. We are required to use 2 planning days, 2 scheduled days for school for teacher planning. We were granted 5 at the beginning of the year. We have not used any. So this will still be, and we have a couple days planned in our recommendation. There is also growing concern, I know from many of you, as well as, that our students that are 7-12, because of distance learning, it's not the best environment, and they're struggling academically. So some are doing well, some are actually doing better than they would be, but there's a good number of students who are struggling across the nation with distance learning. So this is our plan. This is starting February 1st. So what this would look like is pre-K through 6 would be in the building. First grade would be entirely in the first grade classroom, for instance. Monday through Thursday. Friday would be an intervention day, very similar to what they are currently doing on Fridays. And Corey could probably elaborate, but it's actually going very well. We're getting a lot of very good improvement, I guess, for the students who are in taking part of that. And then distance learning, we would be on, as you can see, so Monday and Tuesday, hopefully this self-explanatory, but on Monday and Tuesday, we would bring our 7 through 9 in the building. The teachers worked out a schedule where they will have they still will be split up in the classroom. So some 8th graders will go to science, for instance, and another one will have their electives, and then they switch every other day. And then on Wednesday and Thursdays, our 10th through 12th graders would do the same thing. The schedule is also set up very creatively that I see Mr. Hagan on my screen. So Mr. Hagan would have maybe a couple hours where he would be teaching in person, but then the next hour he may be teaching remotely. So he's never teaching remote and in person at the same time, but throughout the day his schedule it changes. So that will allow for those students, every student will have some academics for the first, from Monday through Thursday. And then on Friday, we would give specific guidance and support to all of our students who need it. And I think which is very beneficial to the students who are struggling. Okay. I'll come back to I'll show this later for questions. So I'll just continue where we're at. There are some obstacles to this. And so any change or any plan, unless we had 100% students and we didn't have COVID, there are some obstacles. Transportation wise, we still have to follow, because this is a hybrid plan. We still have to follow 50% capacity on our buses. So I tasked the drivers and they did an exceptional job. They reported back today that they feel quite confident that we will be able to do that with our current status. There may be some issues if a parent needs transportation now where they didn't need it in the past. So I think the emphasis is still for parents. If you can drive your students to school, that would help our district out immensely. To make this work, we chose to, they will have assigned seats on the bus, and the drivers, when they set up the assigned seats, they put families sitting together as a priority number 1. If that doesn't work out, then classmates would be sitting together. So the rationale for that is if we got a couple of first graders sitting together, if there is an issue, quarantine or issue with COVID, it's easier it might help out the class at least to, that it's not all over the place. So it doesn't mean that families will get that it's guaranteed that they will sit together, but those are the 2 priorities. Okay. The other issues, lack of substitutes. That's been a growing issue for a decade now, but it's even worse now because if one of our teachers is sick, it will require some maneuvering that is, I'll be honest with you, even beyond my capability or capacity. Heather and Corey and Betty do a phenomenal job being creative, but there are some days there just isn't a substitute. So that is going to be a concern. If a staff member is sick and they have to be quarantined, do their quarantine for 2 weeks, that's an entire long period of time where where we have a substitute where we may not have one. Okay. Quarantines, I've thought about this, and it's going to be at basically we're going to have to communicate as best we can to parents and it might happen without notice. So if a student gets sick and we get the information that they need to, that they're positive or possible positive, we may have a class that has to be home for required time. So this is very important, a part of the COVID maneuvering. But that is going to be an issue that is going to have parents and our staff struggling with. And then there are a handful, this is not necessarily an obstacle, but it is, I want you guys to be aware, there are a couple of Mondays now. At the beginning of the year it was more or less Fridays, but now we're having Mondays where there are some days where there's no school. So the staff is recommending on those weeks that if that's the case, the 7th, 8th, and 9th, we do a more virtual in the high school on those days. And we will communicate as often as we need to so that parents are aware of that situation. Leading up to February 1st, this is our intent on our schedule for the month of January. So we plan to use January 15th as a teacher planning day. No staff or no students were going to be in the building anyway, so we felt it was ideal to make that day a planning day. So teachers will come in, begin to work and prep for the return. We will still do lunches. They'll still be delivered. From next week, Monday through Thursday, yes, we'll follow the hybrid plan as we had at the beginning of the year. So the pre-K through, I should say the pre-K through 6 in person. And then Friday, we had a lengthy discussion as a staff about how to do this. We did not want to bring them in and really throw up our schedule and convert it so drastically. So we felt that academically it was better to follow our intervention plan for on Fridays for next Friday. Okay. Then the following week, our pre-K through 6 would be in person, or 7 through 12 out. We would make Wednesday, we would bring our high school, our 7 to 12 in. That's where we will we'll kind of get the ball rolling to return to school. So a lot of it's going to be like a first day of school. We haven't worked out all the kinks on that, but they'll get their lockers, they'll get their schedules for the rest of the year, that sort of thing. And then the next 2 days, the Thursday and Friday would be prep day, again, our second day. And then there was no school on the 29th. That was a teacher in service, and we would continue that on that day. So important factors, again, busing is a huge factor. The drivers again confirmed that they're not 100% confident, but they are confident that we can make it work. So it is imperative that parents communicate if there is a change. We are going to go off of what parents requested at the beginning of the year. We're not going to send home a letter at this point. If there's any change, they need to notify the office, as soon as possible. Contact tracing is going to be essential. And I know this is going to be a challenge. It's going to upset some people, but students, they need to comply with the assigned seats in all settings. So on the bus, in the classroom, the cafeteria, specials classes, because there's a lot of time and effort that goes into contact tracing. And if we do not follow this, then we are quarantining kids who may not have actually truly been exposed. And so this is essential that they contact trace. This is going to be, this is a concern from our staff. Masks are required. We know that there are going to be some students who may have some medical issues that are, but we need to notify those. But we cannot afford, and we do not want to take time out of educating our students to verbally fight with a student who doesn't want to wear a mask. And so this is going to be that we will need to, there will be consequences. And I know the board, you will support us, the staff on this, that for the safety of everyone involved, they have to follow that. And the other thing that I know the teachers are concerned about in the middle and high school is the cell phones. We are not going to give locks for our lockers unless a student requests that. The reason for that is because if a student is, the longer they stand by their lockers to fumble with their lock, that's longer that they're possibly standing next to a student who, and so the contact tracing is concerning with that. So basically, if a student, if they're going to have a cell phone with them, they need to have it off or at least silenced, and it needs to be in their pocket, and we don't want to see it. And if it is, there's going to be consequences, and the regular school policy will be followed on that. To rest assured for parents and even the staff, we're still going to continue with all, we will follow our procedures as best we can for the safe movement. The teachers have and will continue to do a phenomenal job with the paras and other staff members to discuss the procedures for, transitions from one class. They've already started talking about that. The pickup procedures, the drop off, how we use the lunchroom, the movement to the lunchroom and out, how, restroom, all these things will be reviewed and discussed and probably adjusted as we go. But I'm very confident that it will be a well-oiled machine, as soon as possible. And as promised, here is the schedule that we are looking for. So I am open to suggestions, and I may not hear your thing. So if Corey, if you could, if I don't hear it, I might speak up, but if you want to go ahead and answer any questions as you know too.
I think the only thing, Jamie, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I think the only thing I want to add to understand is at the beginning of the year, our special teachers gave up teaching their special core area so that we could bring our elementary in safely. And we split it up, which is why we have classrooms in the library. And it worked, and it was awesome. And our special teachers did that for us. And now that we're looking at a different schedule, we want to bring the high school and middle school in more, but we want to do it safely. So the governor's recommending we bring them back. The elementary can come back into their classrooms. That's what the governor's saying, all in the classrooms. So our specials teachers now became available. So not only are we bringing them back into their area so that they can teach their subject, now we're taking, like when Jamie talked about, half of them, they're going to be split a little bit. That's what it's going to be. So now they are taking their split from elementary and they're helping split the secondary kids. So if you want to talk like the resiliency of these staff, these special teachers is unbelievable. So if you see them, please applaud them because they're giving up teaching their passion this year to help the building, to help it so our kids can be in the school.
Yep. And along that, they have actually, they've asked for guidance from Corey and I on what to, how do I teach band, during a pandemic? And so we will work with them to, help to kind of brainstorm some ideas, but I know the other staff members have already helped with this, brainstorm as well. They're going to be doing things a little differently because it may not be full on singing, but it's going to be other things musically that they might be able to help. So they've been tasked greatly, and I'm very appreciative of the entire staff and that is everyone involved. Every staff member has stepped up to help guide, fill in as needed. It's been a tremendous job by everyone involved. And so I'm very proud of everybody. There's going to be some kinks along the road, but we'll figure that out.
Friday, I don't get it.
So, okay, so K-12 is going to be at home distance learning. Preschool is going to continue. They've always come in on Fridays. But that intervention piece, do you mean? Okay,
So I
so,
just, okay, Friday it says K through 9th are in person.
oh, sorry, that, it's supposed to be just pre-K Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, that is just pre-K on Friday.
And then pre-K's in, everyone else is home and it's intervention.
Correct.
So if a kid's doing well.
Correct,
that's
for secondary, yep,
Yeah.
elementary is doing,
something.
some really cool interventions
Yeah.
now. I don't know if you've seen what Caitlin's been doing, but they're grouped, K3 is grouped by where they're at.
Okay.
And now we're gonna push that into 4-6 as well, but keep the two separate so that they're working at their skill level, but with like peers. And then the secondary will be where needed. Good catch though on that. It is preschool only in the building on Friday.
And then high school.
K-12 is having an intervention day on Friday. A distance learning for intervention day.
So high school solid Monday and Tuesday. And so the day.
That's
That last day.
not that. Right, they're all mixed.
I don't know.
Yeah, the very last page, let me see here. So Monday in person will be preschool through 9th grade, and same with Tuesday. Monday, Tuesday, preschool through 9th grade or in. 10 through 12 will be at home distance learning. Wednesday and Thursday, it'll be, oh, I see, that 6 is supposed to be a 9. So it'll be preschool through 6th grade. I don't know why they're different.
When I was in school, it was
yep,
nursery school.
Wednesday, Thursday is preschool through 6th grade,
Yep.
and then 10 through 12th grade are in person. 7th through 9th grade will be at home distance learning.
So the last page is not the one we
Don't
want.
follow that last
Yep.
page.
Yep.
Okay.
It should be a 9, it
Yep,
should
should
be
be
a
a-
6.
And then Friday preschool in, everyone else out.
I don't know why you would have got confused. Plan 6.
I kept looking back at.
I'm like, what,
Why are they so different? We're just trying to make sure you're paying attention.
Jay,
Which one
you
was
can't-
it going?
Do I get a pass? Was it a pass fail type of thing? So I got a pass.
I haven't,
Yep.
yeah,
Carl, you get a pass.
Krista, bringing, so right now, our classes are split. And smaller volume, smaller loads. We're gonna bring everyone back into the classroom. Are we still following the distancing guidelines, and how does that look, especially with large class sizes?
So actually, our largest class size has some kids that are distance learning, so it's brought the class sizes down. Bringing them back in, the governor, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, but the governor has said, when it comes to being back in elementary, the distancing rules kind of go up. So we are telling our teachers, keep the distance as much as you can and what you're most comfortable with.
They will still be spreading them out as best as we can. They'll be following as much of the protocol as much as possible, but everyone will be in there. I think the largest class is it 5th grade?
It's 5th grade is the largest, but there's 23, 24, which is a lot smaller than what it started out the year at. Correct, we were pushing 30.
Yep.
It's large enough. I mean, maybe we have to move a shelf.
Yep.
And for all the desks.
And there will be the opportunity for a parent to decide to do complete distance learning is also there. We understand why. We really ask them to reconsider about that, because being with their peers in the classroom is always, in our opinion, the best way. But we have some protocols in play to assist with that as well.
And we have done a really nice job this whole year. I mean, think about anyone who is quarantining was simply because they were exposed elsewhere. So they had to quarantine from that. And as a building, we have done a good job.
I mean, if it goes south, we try it, and
And the one scenario that might come up, just so we're clear, and I think my son will be fine with me sharing this, but he's one of the positive ones, and if he were to if his class was quarantined, technically he would not have to be quarantined. But I don't think it's right for him to come to school, sit in Mr. Hagan's in classroom when he's the only one and everybody else is learning remotely. So in that situation, we will make some executive decisions that just makes sense. So he may just, in that situation, he may also have to stay home. We're not aware of a lot of students who have had anything. So our number actually is very low student-wise. We ask that if parents do have one to share that with us, but it's not, at this point, it's not essential if we know it right now.
Are we still gonna be able to offer meal delivery?
On Friday, wait 1 second. So meal delivery, for the distance, for the high school, that we can look into that if that's possible. I have a hard time promising that. On Fridays, I think we definitely could.
When we were in session though, I think we weren't doing a delivery.
No,
we were-
no.
And so then once we went distance learning, then we offered it, the delivery.
Oh.
It was all distance.
Yep.
Well,
Probably.
we kind of did the delivery, so we didn't have to lay off the bus drivers.
Yeah.
So the bus drivers are busy,
Very, very busy.
Plus we serve more meals
and we're gonna serve more meals,
with the
hopefully.
delivery.
Correct.
It'll make the residents happy.
So we pick up
I'm very comfortable doing that on Fridays.
delivery on Fridays.
Yep. Because the drivers are not
Right.
utilized as much.
And we already have the numbers.
Yep. But parents, the pickup will be available.
Monday through Thursday could be pickup available, Friday delivery.
Yes.
And we'll still have.
Is there a second?
Anyone else?
You know how you feel.
Carol's gonna subcontract.
That's kind of surprised you didn't like make the motion.
Actually, I just do it, so Heather has to type out truck and go, they're like. No.
No, then Renee needs to start.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Renee,
Yeah, how many-
It's just like Gogoluski though.
Carl, we do it all the time. I just copy paste.
Oh, dang. You should have told me that.
He just starts with everything Carl, and then deletes.
It's easier to just delete
It's
it.
gonna be you, Renee, every
Is
time.
there a middle name you can add to your name to make it longer?
Well, my middle name is Christian.
Oh.
I like to go by Carl Christian.
Do you want to make a motion for that? All right. So all in favor of approving the safe return plan, say aye. Opposed? So, yeah, before we adjourn, I just want to say thank you to everyone, leadership team, everybody who put this together, Jamie, staff, everyone, because I mean, this is a huge endeavor and it's just, you guys have done an amazing job putting these things together for our district, so we're very appreciative.
I was at a leadership meeting a month ago.
Yeah.
The attitude of the teachers is, it's crazy. I just can't believe they're still so.
Yeah.
It's
It's just, there are so many bits and pieces and parts that go into every decision made that
Oh.
it's unbelievable. And you don't realize that unless you're in it.
Yeah,
You
no,
don't see
they're
it, you
good.
don't think things should be simple and easy to figure
It's
out.
not.
but It is not. So thank you, everybody. for all your work. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Carl, is there a second?
Sorry.
Jay. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Adjourned at
Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Oh, you too.